You're listening to the Dynamic Dojo Show, your source for martial arts talk radio.
3, 2, 1, we're live.
Well, hey everyone, welcome to Dynamic Dojo Talk TV with Rusty and Kat. It is the
sixth.
It's
the 6th.
It's the I don't know what day it is. It's the 6th of January already. Happy New Year, everybody. And stay tuned a little bit later because we're going to have Stephan Spidey Morris on the show with us to talk a little bit about his martial arts career and his activities as social media's one of social media's foremost martial arts promoters. So stay tuned for that. We'll bring him on about 6:30 or so, but you guys know how it goes with live TV and radio. It just never starts on time. So anyway, yay. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
How was everybody's New Year out there? Nobody got hungover or anything like that? Everyone okay out there? All right. Who do we have watching? Let's see who we have watching right here. Let's do a refresh on our window here. We've got, I can't find my window. We got 4 shares already. James Bishop says, hey, Kathy.
James, hi.
And hey, Tom Dwyer says Running Cat, hashtag Rusty and Cat. Hi, Tom. Happy New Year, Tom. Danny Bolden says, hi. This is Grandmaster Danny Bolden. Never stop training. John Lupo. Hi, John.
Hey, John.
Hi, John. Eric Dutra's watching also. Tyler Ford is watching. He says the champ is here.
By the way, James Bishop, I have something for you. I just got to get it to you. So, yeah.
All right. Captain Americus is also watching. So, yay. Well, let's get on with the show. So, again, stay tuned a little bit later. A lot of you know who Stephan Morris is, Stephan Spidey Morris. So, we're going to have him on at about 6:30 or so to talk about his martial arts and his activities as a martial arts promoter, I guess. That's what we would talk to him about. Jane's watching. How you doing, Janie? And John says, Jane, come on, Jane, play the game. John. Anyway, let's get moving on with the show. Let's wish happy birthday to some people. Who do we have for birthdays? Who's on your end there, Kat?
So it's my turn this time.
Yes.
Okay, well, a good friend of mine, Loling Beckman, just a real sweet lady. Richard Norton was January 6th. Pascal Giles, somebody who was a police officer in France, January 7th. We've got Heather McClung, who's a really dear, sweet person, January 8th. John Moore, January 8th. Let's see. Joe Rice, really awesome mouth guards. Yes, free plug.
They're called Bite Me.
Yeah, they're called Bite Me mouth guards. They cost anywhere between $200 and $300.
They're called
Bite Me.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love
Me
it.
mouth guards, and you can customize it, or you can have some of the preset designs that he has on the mouthpiece. However you want to. He takes a full dental mold, and they are pristine. I've had these mouthpieces for years now, and
wow.
They still, every time I put them on, they still fit absolutely perfectly. So Joe Rice, again, Bite Me mouth guards. So anyway, let's see. John Adams, January 12th. And that's about all I have for this week.
All righty. On my end, you already said Richard Norton, right?
I did.
Yes.
Richard
Happy Norton. Birthday. Happy birthday today. Also today, Kent Bergstrom. Tomorrow, January 7th, Randy King. He was a previous guest on our show, and I'm looking to try and get him back on the show. He's from up in Canada, eh?
Armin Medina, if you're listening, happy birthday. I forgot about
Armin
you.
Medina. Awesome. All right. So January 7th, was Armin today, or when's his birthday?
The 14th.
The 14th.
A week from now.
14th. Okay. January 7th, Randy King. Jason Velez and Sean Cephas. On the 8th, Bill Hunter and Ryan Galdamez. Kat already mentioned John Moore, my student. January 11th, Carl Hinkson, Alex Reed, and believe it or not, somebody named Rusty DeJesus. No relation to me that I know of, but he's in the Philippines. And if I remember correctly, there's another Rusty DeJesus somewhere in the Philippines that some of my friends actually tried friend requesting, thinking it was me. No, I've only got two profiles, and I never use Rusty in my profile name. So there you go. And January 12th, Justin Martin. So that's it for our birthdays. So with that said, we got a little birthday tune for everyone. Happy birthday, everyone.
Happy birthday to you. And may all your dreams come true. Happy birthday. Oh,
this is your birthday song.
Celebration all night long.
May all your dreams come true.
We sing all together. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday celebration. Party night, we feel the vibration. Lights are bright, we're feeling alright. We're dancing till the morning light. Happy birthday celebration. Everybody get the temptation. Once again, this is your night, and everyone feels right.
Happy birthday to you. And may all your dreams come true. We sing happy birthday to you. And may all your dreams come true. Happy birthday.
This is your birthday song.
Celebration all night long.
May all your dreams come true.
We sing all together. Happy birthday to you.
It's a perfect
Well, happy birthday, everyone. Where'd my mic go? There it is. Happy birthday, everyone. Make it a great birthday week. All right. Let's move on. So we've got all the greetings going on in the back room there. We got everyone going, hey, Donna, hey, John, hey, Jade, hey, James, what's up? Hey, Tom. And Tom's saying, hey, Paul, if you like learning about martial arts, this is the show. Howard. So thanks for joining us, Paul Howard. I think you came over from the Big Daddy Road Show. Thanks for stopping in.
Woo-hoo.
So yay. So pretty cool. Yep. This is the show. We talk about anything and everything martial arts. We even get people in the martial arts industry on here. But not only that, we bring in people from anything that is related to martial arts, whether that's health and fitness and stuff like that. We talk about all sorts of stuff from self-defense to, should you or should you not carry a weapon, the whole 9 yards. So it's pretty cool. All right. Announcements. I don't have any on my end. Do you have anything going on your end? Do you have any seminars you're going to? Or
Still
anything
going
like
to
that?
the mega weekend in New Jersey.
The Action Martial Arts Mega Weekend.
That's
What's
right.
the dates on those?
Held
again?
by Alan Goldberg. It is the 25th, 26th, and 27th.
Nice.
Yep.
Where's it at?
It's in New Jersey. It's at the Tropicana.
The
in
Tropicana.
Atlantic City, everybody. Tropicana,
Wow.
Atlantic City, New Jersey. Woohoo.
Now, this is a big event, you guys. Gosh, I've heard that, upwards of 10,000 people come through those doors for this event.
Certainly one of the biggest in the world.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I've been invited a few times. I just haven't had the means or the time to go, but hopefully soon, one of these days, I'll be going. Kathleen Irwin is watching us, and everyone is. Gerald Okamura is watching also. Joe
Gerald.
Rebello, how you doing? Lindsay Mantua, how you doing? Thanks for watching. So stay tuned, folks. For those of you who just now tuned in, we're going to have Stephen Spidey Morris joining us a little bit. In fact, one of my questions is how he got his nickname Spidey, because
we all want to know.
We all wanna-
Inquiring minds.
yeah. Nancy Weems is watching. Tom
Woohoo.
Dwyer says hi, Nancy. So if you're coming in from the Big Daddy Road Show, thanks for coming in. Big Daddy Tom Dwyer is a great friend of ours, and we're a fan of his show. So, thanks for coming in. Bruno's here also. So we got the Big Daddy Roadshow coming in. BDRS peeps. Yes, please share the show. Please share the show, you guys.
Yeah, sharing.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is
Joe Rebello says, so glad to finally meet you, Kathy. Hoping to interview. So, Joe, tell us a little bit about your TV show. Put it in the comments below.
We will read them out loud, my friend.
Yes,
Yes.
we will plug it, but we'll plug you. You plug us. Everything's kind of cool. Vince Palumbo, Grandmaster Vince Palumbo from Down Under is joining us today. He says, great job on the TV radio. Thank
Yay.
you so much, Grandmaster. I've never been to Australia, but one of these days I hope to visit.
I've been to Melbourne. It was fantastic.
Grandmaster Vince Palumbo was a wonderful Dos Pares practitioner. Absolutely wonderful. I met him in person in the Philippines in 2012 or 13. I forget which, for a big gathering over there. When Grandmaster Cañete was still alive. So thanks for watching, Grandmaster. Sean Byrne is watching also. Stephan Morris writes, Gerald Okamura, legendary actor. Oh, he was just commenting on the fact that Gerald Okamura
Gerald!
is joining us.
You amazing, sexy, hot hunk of man, you. Hunk of a man.
Hunka.
Love you, Gerald.
Sonny Beasley is also following the show right now. He says, hello, cheers to a great 2019 Kajuken love. Yes, love. Thank you. All right. So no announcements on your end. No, well, other than the action
the mega
martial arts.
weekend.
There is a website for it. I don't know where to find information about it, but if you guys are in the Atlantic City area on the weekend of January
25th, 26th, and 27th.
Then check out the action martial arts mega weekend. Like I said, I've heard stories that up to upwards of 10,000 people pass through the doors just because of the fact that it's a trade show. It's one of the world's biggest martial arts trade shows. Michael Huffman's also watching. Also, thanks for watching. All right, well, let's move on. Let's go to. I think it's time for health news. Yes, health news. Let's see if I can bring my graphic up. It's not. I don't know where my graphic went. It disappeared.
Where did it go?
I don't know. I lost my graphic. Where's the health news?
The Scooby-Doo reference. Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh. Well, let's do this then instead. Since my graphics are being. Oh wait, there it is. Found it. Found it. All right. And the only reason why I put it up here is so that way, we don't look at us, looking like we're reading into the camera there. Okay. So this particular health news is all about the Mediterranean diet. So here we go. Any Mediterranean diet followers out there? Raise your hand. Or write in. Just say, me, I do the Mediterranean diet. Now, for the first time, for this week's health news, for the first time, the Mediterranean diet has won the gold as 2019's best overall diet in rankings announced this past week by U.S. News and World Report. The analysis of 41 eating plans also gave the Mediterranean diet the top spot in several subcategories. Best diet for healthy eating, best plant-based diet, best diet for diabetes, and easiest diet to follow. I know, that's pretty cool, huh? All right, so what is it? Well, the Mediterranean diet is based on the traditional foods eaten in countries along the Mediterranean. So the core of such a diet is fruits and vegetables, whole grains such as brown rice, quinoa, couscous, oats, and whole grain pasta and bread.
Then we have nuts and seeds, tubers, white and sweet potato beets. Oh, beets.
Wait, beets?
Beets. Heck yeah.
Oh,
tubers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just didn't think of it as a tuber. I think tubers, I think, potatoes.
Well, they are potatoes, white and sweet potatoes, but Beets are also considered a tuber. Then we also have the healthy fats, which are avocados, olives, and it says etc.
Okay, beans and legumes. So, yay. Seafood and fatty fish. This is my favorite thing here about the Mediterranean diet. Fish, shrimp, sardines, herring, that kind of thing. And it's usually because of the omega-3 fatty acids. Personally, I don't eat fish because of the fatty acids. I eat it because it tastes good. Now, things like chickpeas, lentils, beans, and dried peas, aka pulses, are staples of the Mediterranean diet, and they're a good source of filling protein as opposed to non-filling protein, and an excellent source of fiber, which helps us satisfy our appetites and keeps our digestion healthy. Now, just adding a half cup of serving of any of those pulses, lentils, chickpeas, beans, dried peas, etc., to your weekly meals only 3 times a week can not only help your weight keep in check, but it can also improve your overall health. Now, as healthy as the Mediterranean diet is, there are some things you need to eat in moderation.
Such as eggs, dairy, milk, cheese, yogurt, stuff like that, poultry.
And I read someplace that you can eat dairy on the Mediterranean diet, but you want to do so in moderation. You should try to swap in olive oil instead of butter, because olive oil offers heart healthy fats. And
although all taste so good together.
They do, don't they? Especially on shrimp, fish,
or eggs.
Or eggs.
Am I just blowing it? I'm totally blowing it, aren't I?
Blowing the Mediterranean diet. Tom had fish today for dinner.
Go Tom.
There you go. Deer meat's on the Mediterranean diet.
Really?
Squid. Grass-fed meat. Well, that's a good question. Hi, Colin. Thanks for joining us. What's it say here? Grass-fed meat. Well, let's look into this. Now, concerning eggs, Kat, you can eat eggs. The Mediterranean diet isn't as strict as you have to eat only the egg whites, right? People that follow the Mediterranean diet actually recommend that most people eat the whole egg, because the yolk of the egg supplies many important nutrients, including choline, which helps the brain, and lutein and zeaxanthin, which helps with your eyes. Now, regarding meat, you want to limit your intake on red meat, red wine, refined grains and oils, sugar, and processed food. Now, you'll often see red wine in the Mediterranean diet, and that's because in moderation, it can actually be beneficial to heart health. However, you do want to limit your alcohol intake. I mean, that's a given, right?
It definitely adds weight.
It definitely can add weight, and women should have no more than 1 5-ounce glass of wine daily. Men should have no more than 2 5-ounce glasses of wine daily. I don't even drink that often.
I know, but
much less wine.
You
but
just got to keep in mind that this is the Mediterranean guidelines.
yeah,
So I mean, with meat, especially if you eat eggs from a chicken that is eating grains that have been treated with pesticides, it goes on. So,
yeah,
you just have to be really careful about, and selective.
Yep.
Because the carcinogens that are in the meats nowadays are pretty toxic.
yeah. Well, anyway, there you go. That's our news for the week, the Mediterranean diet. Now, this is pretty much what I eat. The Filipino diet, with the exception of pork, lots of pork, is very close to the Mediterranean diet. We do eat a lot of vegetables, native vegetables. So it helps that we've got Asian markets all around where I live and stuff like that. So I'm never far away from Asian vegetables and stuff like that. Just loving it. Now, yeah. So Tom goes, all the things I eat. Nice. It is nice. Just keep it eating healthy, keep moving, and everything's hunky dory. Everything's hunky dory. All right. Let's move on to our next thing here. And that is, We've got the weirdness of the week. This one's really funny. So let's get into it. Weirdness of the week. All right, so let me show you. Let me give you guys a little picture here. I'm gonna share the desktop so everyone can see this photo of this of this guy. All right, so in our weird news of the day, you see this guy right here? This guy right here.
With the raspberry sword above his left eye.
Yeah,
Yes, that guy.
this guy. Now I see. I'm not seeing. Oh, here we go. Hold on. It's not showing. I lost it. Where did it go?
Bummer.
Oh, what the heck? Okay, let me try this again. Yeah, I hit it and then it disappeared, and yeah. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, this guy. Let's pull this up here. Well, anyway, let's just I can't find the freaking thing. So anyway, so crime in Des Moines, Iowa. Okay. A man in Des Moines, Iowa was jailed Monday after said he assaulted a convenience store clerk with, get this, a banana.
A banana. Was that banana loaded? You gotta wonder.
Oh my God. So I just don't know.
How much is it gonna hurt if you hit somebody with a banana?
I
just don't get it.
I don't know. All I know is that this is what the police say. Okay. Now, this guy, Rogelio Tapia, who's 26 years old, he got into a dispute with an unnamed person at a Quick Trip. I guess that's a convenience store in Des Moines, Iowa. He got into this dispute with some person at a Quick Trip in on this past Monday. Now, when a store clerk tried to intervene, witnesses say Tapia chased the clerk around the store with a banana. And
somebody comes running at me with a banana, I'm just gonna laugh.
And now he ultimately threw this banana and other items in the store at this clerk. The disturbance cost about $1,000 in damage to the store.
What?
Now, Tapia was charged with assault on persons in certain occupations, simple assault, interference with official acts, and third-degree criminal mischief. Jail records show he was released. So wait a minute. He was charged with assault on persons in certain occupations. So I didn't know it was a crime. I mean, it's a crime to attack people, but I guess it's more of a crime if you attack people in certain professions. So, don't be going around attacking, convenience store clerks. Simple assault. Okay, I get that. Interference with official acts.
I guess the store clerk trying to do his job. I don't know.
Yeah, he got John goes, cue the Monty Python skit. That's right. The store clerk was attacked by a banana.
A banana.
He was attacked with a banana. That's right. That's right. Yes. And then the policeman came. Not quite those newt guys, but yes. He was attacked by a banana. And James Bishop writes in and he says the charges get upgraded for high potassium. So there you go. The banana was made out of high potassium. So there you go. And we're cueing the Monty Python skit right now.
Okay.
The banana must have been made of metal, says Tom Dwyer. I'll ask, was it a huge banana? We don't know. All we know, it was big enough to be considered an assault. So there we go. A man attacks a store clerk with a banana.
Okay, weird news. That's
weird.
weird.
That's pretty weird. So
Yeah.
there you go. Alrighty then. Okay, so what do we have up now? Oh my goodness, I think we're already up for Cat's Corner. Let's bring up that graphic. Let's bring up
Ah,
that graphic.
Cat's Corner.
It is. It's time for Cat's Corner. Here we go. Let's see. It's not playing. All right. So the question on the ticker for today for Kat, and if you guys have any questions for Kat, we have time for about one or two more questions after this. Okay, so the first question that came in on the ticker: what sacrifices did you have to make
Oh,
in order to become a kickboxing world champion, Kat?
wow. Good question.
It is a good question.
You know, I had left college to open a school. Not to say that that was a sacrifice, but let's just say that, you know, I have a huge passion for psychology and a few other things, but mostly what I sacrificed and had to give up was not only, you know, any kind of social life, not that I was heavily out into partying or drinking or going to bars or anything like that, but there was literally no time to do anything but train or teach and work. So I worked several jobs. And when there were, you know, opportunities to go do something, I couldn't because I had to work or I had to teach or I had to train. And I think one of the biggest sacrifices that I made was music, playing an instrument. You know, at that time I was really into guitar and artwork. I love to draw in watercolor, and it's something I haven't done in forever. It's been a long time. But you know, when I was out with a group and everybody's eating whatever they want to order, and ice cream or for dessert or cakes or pies or whatever else, I wouldn't touch it. So I gave up basically everything that I love to do. Pretty
Wow.
much. But it was worthwhile. You know, it was something I chose to do, and I have no regrets. And even at the time, I wasn't upset about it or angry or, you know, resentful or anything, because I just knew that it was something I had to do. If I wanted to become a world champion, then I absolutely had to do more than everybody else, at least my mindset at the time.
Another question that came in. This is from John Lupo. What was the dumbest stunt you ever had to do?
Stunned.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
last week we were talking about did you have any favorite stunts or memorable stunts that you did TV or the movie? Now
TV
this
or
one
movies.
this one now is what was the dumbest stunt you ever had to do?
What was the dumbest stunt? I don't think there was a dumb stunt, because when you're doing stunt work, period, it's you know, there's an element of danger to it, and you know, you do your very best to stay as safe as possible, depending on, you know, the type of stunt it is. But you know, there's always a risk. But there really are no dumb stunts. So I sorry, I can't answer that question.
Aw. Well, I guess maybe what people are what's the word I'm looking for? People that are curious about is, what was there a stunt where you actually questioned why this stunt is happening? I mean, was there something that were they had asked you, you're going to do this, and you know, you might have not have much training in it, and it felt at the risk of life and limb, that kind of thing?
Well, you know, getting lit on fire, I'd never done that. And
It's fun though, huh?
it was a blast. But you know, kind of in the reverse, I'll reverse that they insisted in one of the films, Nice, spelled with a K, they insisted that I have a body double jump from one rock to another rock. Yeah. I had to have a body double because of the safety factor.
Okay, but you ended up jump kicking a guy off of a horse.
Right.
But they asked to have a stunt double for you to jump from this rock
to
to
that
this rock.
That's right.
Right?
Well, it was kind of high up.
Oh, okay.
And I was fine with doing it. I was like, I'll do this, no problem. But they insisted that I have a stunt double. It's kind of funny. Yeah.
But she can like jump kick someone off of a horse in the same movie. Go figure.
Running, leaping sidekick. Score.
Right. Now, Nancy Weems, and this is going to be the last question for Cat's Corner. Nancy Weems writes in and goes, have you ever gotten hurt?
Doing stunts?
Doing stunts.
No. Been hurt doing kickboxing, that's for sure. But doing stunts, I never got hurt.
There you go.
Oddly enough.
There you go. All right. Well, that's it for Cat's Corner.
Yay!
All right. Well, let's do this, folks. We're going to go ahead and take a very short break. And when we come back, we're going to bring on Stephan Spidey Morris. We're waiting for his camera to boot up in our green room lobby here on our camera back room. So if you're listening, Stephan, go ahead and connect and hold on for about 4 minutes because we're going to bring you on right after the commercial. Now, for some reason, if you are on and what's that? Janie asked, how far was the rock? Okay, how far was the rock?
Oh, about 10 feet across.
No, you mean the rock? There was a rock here and then another rock 10 feet?
Somewhere around there.
And they had to have a stunt person.
We were really high up off the ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So never mind. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So did she end up doing the stunt?
Yeah.
Was she wired up to make sure she didn't fall to her death?
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
That's why I was like, why can't I do it? Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not going to wire you up. You can't kill the talent.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Can't kill the talent. Okay. So again, we're going to be taking a little break here, and when we come back, we're going to be with Spidey Morris. So a couple things, Spidey, you just want to make sure that you're looking in the camera that you're broadcasting with. So far, we're not looking you in the eye. Yeah. So let's go to a break though, and when we come back, we're gonna have Stephan Spidey Morris. So don't go away, folks.
Seacrest for RAD. Over 300 people in this country are killed every week by a drunk driver. That's the equivalent of 2 747 plane crashes every single week. And the problem isn't going away unless we all do our part to stop it. So if you see someone who's about to drive after drinking, get the keys. Don't leave it up to anyone else. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
This is Chicago-style hot dog here. I'm not feeling too good. Turns out, along with all the other bad things my cholesterol does, they say it's a risk factor for strokes. Strokes? Sheesh. Good news from National Stroke Association. Exercising, eating right, and asking your doctor about medicines that can help lower your cholesterol, like statins, may reduce the risk of a first stroke. If you had a stroke, it's even more important you lower your cholesterol.
Lower your chance of stroke by controlling your cholesterol. Visit stroke.org today.
Packers.
Vikings. We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown. We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full. But when we live united, we make a real difference in the building blocks of life. Children succeed in school, families gain financial stability, the health of our neighbors improves, and suddenly so do our communities. Change won't happen without you.
Live united.
So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up today at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Greetings and welcome to the world's first and only Martial Arts History Museum. My name is Michael Matsuda. I'm founder and president of the museum. As an educational facility, the museum is a fun place for young people and visitors to experience art, history, culture, and tradition, and its relationship to the martial arts. Created as a timeline, it reveals how Asian history has had a unique and positive effect on American history. In just under an hour, visitors will be able to explore the culture and tradition of China, Japan, Korea, the Philippines, Thailand, and even Hawaii. You will be impressed with our section on the history of anime and the role Walt Disney played in changing the world. In our media section, visitors will enjoy reliving their past as they examine our historical timeline of martial arts in film, TV, and print. And as a bonus, visitors will get a thrill from our props from a variety of martial arts movies, including The Karate Kid, Kung Pao Movie, Revenge of the Ninja, Wendy Wu, Big Trouble in Little China, and many more. From Anime Wong to President Theodore Roosevelt, to Bruce Lee to Avatar The Last Airbender and the Ninja Turtles. The martial arts has not only transformed American history, but it changed the world. The museum is a fun and exciting place to visit for the whole family. All the displays here were designed by the artists from Disney, DreamWorks, The Simpsons, and Halloween artists. If you are part of the Unified School District, head up a homeschool, Boys and Girls Club, the Boy Scouts, or even church groups, your fun time, experiences, and Asian history. I know that there are many great music for our kids to enjoy and explore. Now you can put the Martial Arts History Museum on that list of places to visit.
You're listening to Dynamic Dojo Show, your source for martial arts talk radio.
All right, and we are back. Thanks for joining us back at Dynamic Dojo Talk TV. It is, what time is it? It is about 6:36. We're running only about 6 minutes late, but that's okay. So, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, our special guest today is Stephan Spidey Morris. He touts himself as social media's foremost martial arts promoter. So let's go ahead and bring him on, learn a little bit about his martial arts, his philosophy, and how it applies martial arts and how it applies to life, and all sorts of cool, fun stuff. So let's bring his camera up in 3, 2, 1. And I think there he is. Let's bring him on. Oh, there he is. Awesome. How you doing, Spidey?
Hi, gals.
Can you hear us okay?
You gals are looking great. Beautiful women.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today. So what Kat and I usually like to do is we like to hear about our guests' beginnings from all the way back when, the beginnings in their career. So can you tell our viewers out there a little bit about how you got started in martial arts and the martial arts that you've taken and stuff like that?
Yeah, I started in the womb. No.
So did I.
That's a joke. That's a joke. I started in the womb.
Yeah.
I first developed an interest in martial arts. One of our pastors was teaching Wado-Ryu karate, and I thought the martial arts is so cool because it had such a vast history and so many different aspects to it. I was drawn to it because of its uniqueness. And, you know, I guess I had a little bit of fighter in me. You know, I had a little bit of that, you know, I wasn't a bully, I wasn't a fighter, but I kind of enjoyed the idea of fighting. And I think I got into it when I was in about 7th grade, and I studied Wado-Ryu karate, Japanese karate, initially, for a couple years. So that was my beginning. And of course, I learned a lot about, you know, Bruce Lee was still alive back then. I was born in 1963. So, you know, I learned, you know, I heard about him, and, you know, that triggered my interest in martial arts as well. You know, I used to go to, after Bruce Lee passed away several years later, I would go to Bruce Lee movies and in the movie theaters. And it was just a thrill, you know, to see Fist of Fury, which was the big boss in Hong Kong. And my heart would just race, seeing Bruce Lee come on the screen. And it was just, I knew after that I was a martial artist. I knew I was a martial artist for life. So that's how it all started for me.
Oh, nice. Well, Sifu Alan Goldberg just wrote in, and he is thrilled that you're going to be coming to the action martial arts mega weekend in a couple weeks. So that'll be cool. You'll be seeing Cat also. It'll be kind of cool. Awesome.
Thank you, Sifo Goldberg. Cool. Sifo Goldberg. I actually I have a page for him, and he's a great guy. It's a great event. It'll be my third year. I'll be at the Superfoot table for Bill Wallace. I'll be monitoring the Superfoot table this year. I work very close. I work very closely with Bill Wallace as well. So
very cool. Now I had just had a quick question for the viewers out there that follow other martial arts and aren't quite as versed in karate or anything. So you've done Wado-ryu karate. Do you think you can tell our viewers a little bit about the difference between Wado-ryu and, like, say, Shotokan karate or Goju-ryu karate?
Yeah, I'm 55 now. I have about 43 years experience in the martial arts. Trained formally about 13 to 15 years. Trained on my own many other years. Wado-ryu is Japanese. It's traditional Japanese karate. Shotokan, I'm not real familiar with Shotokan, but a lot of the Korean martial arts, Mukwan, Tang Sudo, Taekwondo, they emphasize kicking techniques, where the Japanese styles, or Okinawa, sometimes Okinawa styles, they're more emphasis on, hi Nancy Weems, their more emphasis is on hand techniques. I have trained in about 7 different studios through the years. I trained with some champions and champions of an entire countries that were senseis of the studios. So I actually had a friend that trained in Shotokan. I'm not real clear, for all the groups I run. I should know more about Shotokan karate, but I have a little bit of, I have to look that one up a little bit. I'm not sure about the roots of Shotokan, but Wado-ryu and all the Japanese styles emphasize hand techniques, where the Korean styles and the Okinawan styles tend to emphasize fancy kicks. I think that's the primary difference. Hi, Donna. That's my best friend there, Donna Kinsella Keating. So,
yes, thanks for listening, Donna.
Yeah, that's my best friend. That's my best friend in the world right now.
Nancy Weems right there, and she writes, Nancy Weems has a question. She writes, does he have his own cut man? And if so, what's a cut man? When I hear cut man, I hear like the people in the corner in a boxing ring or in a kickboxing ring.
Right, or MMA, but either way, for that sort of thing, for those sports, you do need a cut man.
Yeah, so I guess she was wondering if you had a cut man, if you fought professionally or whatever.
Oh, so I fought professionally. No, I never fought professionally. I've been kicked in the head by Bill Wallace, Don Wilson, Christine Banyan Rodriguez, Shore Willer Sanders, and Bill Wallace, for photos. And Kathy Long is kicking me in the head at the Mega Weekend, whether she likes it or not. But yeah. I gotta get. I've known Kat for a couple of years, and Kat, you are kicking me in the head at the Mega Weekend. because I've been kicked in the head by some of the best in the business, and Bill Wallace, Don Wilson. I've been kicked in the head by Cynthia Rothrock. I've been kicked in the head by Rodriguez, Sherwill or Sanders. Kathy Long is kicking me in the head at the Mega Weekend. So,
All right, there you go.
All right, if you insist.
Hey, Kat, do we have a date? Do we have a date for the Mega Weekend to get kicked in the head? Yeah.
To get kicked in the head. Absolutely.
Yes. Please.
Just, we're just going to go fly with the event to get kicked.
You're on my bucket list. You're on my bucket list, Kat. You got to kick me in the head. Yeah.
I'll kick you in the head.
Thank you. Kick
So,
some sense.
I'm Spidey. Something that you've been saying for some time now since I've known you is that you are absolutely one of the top martial arts promoters. So what got you started in promoting other people in martial arts? I'm just curious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where are you going?
I am the world's top martial arts promoter on social media. I've been told that by quite a few people, actually VIPs. So I have 24 groups and 22 pages right now. I just added Keith Vitale. I got an official group for Keith Vitale now. Keith and I were chatting for an hour and a half last night all over Facebook. And so how I got involved, first group was for Bill Wallace. I wanted to be closer to Bill Superfoot Wallace. And I was going to his seminars, and I said, how can I be closer to Bill Superfoot Wallace? Well, I looked at his group, and I said, you know what? It's all right, but I can do better. I have a lot of computer skills. I can do better. And right now, it's his foremost group. It's Bill Wallace's foremost group. And I'm very good friends with Bill and Jane, his wife, and Joe Corley. So, I communicate with them guys all the time, So that's how I got started. I wanted to create a group for Bill Wallace, and it started evolving past that. And now I have 24 groups and 23 pages, I think. So.
Now, do you do, when he, Spidey actually made a group page for Kat.
Yes,
it's a very successful page. Made a page for me. Thank you so much, Spidey.
Yes,
and with Bill Wallace's group page. Now, did you study with Bill Wallace other than seminars, or was it primarily a seminar thing?
I went to several seminars with Bill and got to know Bill before the group. And then I got permission from him and his wife to create the group. And that group now is over 4 years old. So, and it's been very successful. We've had a lot of top name administrators, Jory Beasley, Jeff W. Smith. A lot of top names have been administrators in that group. But I'm the founder. Bill and I are, of course, the main people, and that group has 21,000 members now. So,
wow, awesome!
21,000. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all martial artists, and they're all martial artists. I only go after martial artists for members.
So, Stephen, what got you nicknamed Spidey, and what is the interest in that name?
Spidey. What got my nickname Spidey? Well, first of all, I'm a major Marvel Comics fan. And
me too. Well, DC as well.
Great. And when I was a boy, when I was a kid, I was a Batman fan. But when I got older, Spider-Man appealed to me. And the first Spider-Man comic was March 1963. My birthday is March 1963. And I played Spider-Man in birthday parties, hospital benefits, And Uptown Ephrata, I played Spider-Man for Uptown Ephrata. I had a Spider-Man car in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, that actually became famous within the community. It actually was
had a
filled.
Spider-Man car?
Yeah, I had a Spider-Man car. I made
What's
the
a
front
Spider-Man
page.
car?
It was an Eclipse. It was a Mitsubishi Eclipse, and it was filled with Spider-Man decals. And the interior was all Spider-Man. The entire interior. People would, when I would stop at places, people would say, "Can I take a photo of your car?" It was really all, it was an awesome car. And I made the front page of my newspaper, of my daily newspaper. I made the front page. So that was cool.
How about that? That's very cool.
Yep.
Hashtag
It was for
Spider-Man.
It was for Spider-Man's 50th birthday. I knew the editor of our newspaper. Our town's about 15,000. And I knew the editor of the newspaper, and I emailed him. I said, Spidey's 50th birthday is coming up August 2012. And they put me on the front page and page 13. I had a big write-up about me and my interest in Marvel and DC and all the comics, and Spidey being and that's how Spidey became my nickname. So.
Okay. I thought it was like,
Hey, Danny Bolden, you're a friend of mine on Facebook.
Yeah, Danny Bolden writes, I'm going to go live with ladies one day.
Hey, we'll
All
do
right
that.
then.
Yeah.
Right then. So, you're for, just to make it easier for you, Grandmaster Danny Bolden, when you comment, your Facebook name automatically pops up. So, if you'd like to save a few keystrokes, you don't have to sign your posts because it's right there. So thank you for joining us, Grandmaster. Sifu Mike Mather from Oregon is watching. How you doing, Sifu Mike? Awesome. All right. So getting back to your training back in the day, do you have a particular event or memorable moment that you can tell our listeners about in your martial arts training? Not so much right now, not so much your promoting of the martial arts, but in your personal training, do you have a memorable event that you tell our listeners about?
Do I have a Zen moment in martial arts? I trained in World Tang Sudo for 5 years. I was almost second degree black belt. I was probably the best kicker in the entire studio, and it was a very large studio. I was known for my kicks. I was the kind of person that could, do a spin kick in the air and nail a target, 6 feet in the air at the time. And roundhouse kick lightning fast. So you could see why I was attracted to Bill Wallace, because Bill Wallace was named by Black Belt Magazine as the greatest kicker in the martial arts.
So did you want to be one of the greatest martial arts?
Well, I was a great kicker. I was actually my roundhouse kick was lightning fast. I used to spar in studios, and I would nail the studio owners in the head. They couldn't block it. It was too fast. So,
okay.
I'm 55 now. That was like 10, 15 years ago, when I was really good. But I can still do a spin kick, and I can still do a pretty fast roundhouse kick. And, but, I was known for kicking. I was so good at kicking at my studio at the World Tang Sudo that was run by Grandmaster Jay Shin, who passed away a few years ago. He was the first teacher of Chuck Norris. And he ran the organization. It was 150,000 members. And I remember many times being complimented for my kicks. You know, I remember a couple studio sessions where the entire class would be watching me kick targets because my kicks were, you know, above par, you know. So I prided myself on my kicks. I guess, you know, in the dojo, that was a highlight for me, you know, is, you know, when the people would actually, you know, stop what they were doing and watch me kicking targets, you know, that was cool. So, and when they held the body bags, I would actually knock the people over that were holding the body bags. You know, even adults, I would actually knock them over with my kicks.
Even adults. Wait.
Yes,
Makes it sound like that you have kids holding for you.
Yes, even adults. So you can see why I got attracted to Bill Wallace. I've been a fan. I've been a fan of Kathy Long for decades too. You know, but part of the reason my first group was for Bill was because greatest kicker in the martial arts. You know, and I prided myself on my own kicks. So, you know, that was kind of a many experience, not just one solitary experience, but many times, you know, the studio would actually sit back and watch me kick, which was really cool, you know. And it gave me a sense of self-esteem. It gave me a sense of self-esteem that, you know, that I was really, really, really good at something, you know. Above par.
That'll definitely bring the self-esteem up a bit. I'm curious though, you know, from that being a great kicker, what have you learned? Have there been any great, you know, lessons that you've learned from that, and how you're applying that, I guess, that work ethic to your everyday life?
Well, you know, at the time I was training, when I was close to second degree black belt to take my test in World Tang Sudo. World Tang Sudo is a very, very rigid, very strongly work ethic system. My studio owner, we had about 100 members in that studio. He said my work ethic was, he said it was like the best in the entire studio. You know, he said I gave 110% every class, and I used to. And at the time, I was working in the IT field, you know, for a major corporation. And so, like I say, I trained at that studio for 5 years under World Tang Sudo. And I gave it all I got. And I think the fact my wife passed away in March 2nd, 2004, which really obviously my soulmate passed away to March 2nd, 2004, which had a major, major, major effect on my life. And, you know, for a while I dropped out of martial arts, and, you know, I switched jobs. I was really struggling to keep going in life. And about 5-6 years ago, I really, really took a dive. I was hospitalized a few times for depression. And I understand depression. You know, I lost my wife, you know. And I lost my wife to depression. I lost my wife to suicide. So it's been really, really hard. You know, the Wallaces, they know all about that side of me. And, but losing my wife was the hardest thing that ever happened to me in my whole life. So it's been, you know, it's been hard. But the martial arts, that indomitable spirit, that respect has helped me in many ways to get through a lot of tough times since losing my wife, especially.
So do you train still, or have you stopped training?
Yeah, I have a red, white, and blue dojo top on. This was the same top that Bill Wallace, Jeff Smith, Joe Louis, and Rejedo DeJesus, not Rejedo De, that's your name, I'm sorry. The first PKA run by in 1975, they all pretty much wore the red, white, and blue outfits. Isaiah Dunas. It was Isaiah Dunas, Bill Wallace, Jeff W. Smith, and Joe Louis. They won the first PKA World Tournament. And I know Jeff Smith. I never met Joe Louis. He passed away before I got a chance to meet Joe Louis. But I know I'm friends with Jeff Smith. I'm friends with Bill Wallace. I chatted once with Isaiah Dunas, but this is the same outfit. This top is the same outfit, pretty much the same they wore the first PKA World Championship, and of course Bill Wallace retired undefeated, 23-0. And I lost the trend of your question, I think, but
if you were still training now, because
you're still
something that can obviously help with depression.
Yes, I do train. I am not currently formally training. There's a studio not too far from me that wants me to come and train there. They know about my background, and I think they're gonna bring me in as a second Dan and Tangsudo Mudaquan. But
so is it a Tangsudo?
It's a Tangsudo Mudaquan studio.
Got it.
I'm very good friends with Eric Kowalski. I'm very good friends with Eric Kowalski, and he also wanted me to train, in Scranton, Pennsylvania. So, I had an option there too, although Scranton's pretty far from where I live. But I still train on my own, but right now I'm in the process of moving. So right now I'm in the process of getting my house ready for sale. So.
Oh, where are you moving to? Well, I guess that's classified.
I'm considering moving to Florida. And Bill Wallace and I are going to be hunting alligators in Florida together. So. 'Cause they live in Florida. They live in Florida, and I sent that message to Jane. I had a emoticon, or not an emoticon, but one of those graphics of a guy swinging an alligator in the air, and I said, "That's Bill." and my dog. I have a lab. I have a female lab. She's gonna find the alligators for us, and Bill and I are gonna hunt them. So they live in southern Florida. So now Bill's hardly ever home. Bill's hardly ever home, to be honest. But when he is home, we're gonna hunt alligators in Florida. So.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Well, Mike Matter writes in and he goes, "Definitely need to train. You need to train, bro." He says, because no matter what, a lot of people, tend to think that if they're going to get back into training that it has to be same art, so that way they keep their rank and, that kind of thing. And, but you were going to say that training is one of the best ways to
relieve depression. Yep.
Well, I agree. My last formal training was in Lancaster, Pennsylvania at a Taekwondo school. And I had an opportunity to spar. And when I turn them kicks on, good luck, with my opponent, because I kick hard, and I kick fast. But that was my last formal training. A friend of mine lives in Lancaster, and I trained there for pushing almost 2 years. So I trained in about 7 different studios over the years. So
nice. Very cool.
But right now I'm moving. I'm getting ready to move. That's my main project right now. So.
Oh, right on.
So is it official that you are moving to Florida, or you're just thinking you might move to Florida?
It's pretty official I'm moving to Florida because Pennsylvania winters, 55 years of Pennsylvania winters is too much. that's a little bit too much for me. And Grandmaster Sergio Barrigier lives in Florida. The Wallaces live in Florida. There's a few other friends I know that live in Florida. And I had an old girlfriend that lived in Florida. So I got to really like the Tarpon Springs area of Florida, Spring Hill, Florida, along the Gulf Coast. So, yes,
Right.
I'm probably going to be moving to Florida, although I may move in with my cousin and my uncle first before I actually find an apartment down there. So,
Right.
the house will probably, we're putting the house up for about almost 200,000. So hopefully I'll get, clear 180 or something. So I have a little money to play with.
Nice. So I have a quick question, Spidey. So now you are a great promoter on social media and stuff like that. Now, how do I put this question? Because you said that you wanted to start a page for Bill Wallace because of your computer skills.
A
group. Right. Now, did you, from that point on, decide that you wanted to be a martial arts industry promoter, or was this something that you had planned?
No. When I first created the group for Bill Wallace, I never expected to get any awards. I've gotten 10 international awards since creating my groups. I've been in Grandmaster Jesse Bowen's Hall of Fame book. I got a page and a half in there. But when I first created Bill Wallace's group, the only purpose I had, never envisioned creating any other groups. The only thing I wanted to do was be closer to Bill Wallace, who was a hero of mine. And that's the only thing I wanted to do. And then all of a sudden, I had an epiphany. Hey, if I created one, why can't I create a second one? And then more of them, and it just kept building on itself. So and Fighting Stars, when I was young, Fighting Stars was like the best magazine they ever had out there. In my opinion, it's still the best martial arts magazine they ever had out there. And I have a very large collection of Fighting Star magazines in my own personal collection. But I started I have the only Fighting Star magazine group on Facebook. It has about 16,000 members, and it has done very well. I think it's been around 3 years. It's done very well as a group, and it's been very popular. And I post stuff in there. I got a lot of likes, and got a lot of active. So that was like my second group. I think that was my second group, Fighting Stars. So,
there you go.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Spidey, just out of curiosity, where do you see yourself going from here? What do you want to accomplish, and what are your goals?
what are my goals? Well, I'm planning to continue to formally train. If I move to Florida, it'll probably be in Taekwondo or Muay Thai or Tang Soo Do. I've never actually formally competed, despite being very, very good, saying that in a modest way. I was very good, especially with my kicks. I never actually competed for a trophy, ever. And sometimes I kind of regret that. I never did, but I have sparred a lot through the years. I have sparred a lot in class through the years. My goals is to go down and fish off the Gulf Coast of Florida, because I love to fish too. So, and continue with the martial arts. And I'm a third Dan in Danny Lane's system. My next rank in Danny Lane's system would be master's rank. And I'm very close with Danny Lane, too. I work very closely with Danny Lane. He's trained under Chuck Norris for 38 years. He's one of Chuck Norris's highest black belts, and I'm third Dan in his system, and I plan to become fourth Dan probably within the next year. So
Is
So
fourth
Dan?
Is fourth Dan a master rank?
fourth Dan's master rank in Danny Lane's system, yes.
Oh, okay. And Danny Lane's
Danny Lane is a legend in the martial arts. He won the nationals and North American tournament 10 times, and he was one time a world champion. He went over to Korea after training with Chuck Norris. He beat the Korean legends. He beat the people that trained in Korea, the masters. He beat them. So Danny Lane is a legend in the martial arts, and I run 2 pages for him and a group. I help him with the world. I'm a member of the World's Martial Arts Federation, which is on my thing here. It says Danny Lane World Martial Arts Federation. And I'm a third Dan in his system right now. So my next test will be fourth Dan. So Danny's a great guy. Danny's a great guy. I really like Danny.
I'm just curious. How long had you been training in this system, in Danny's system?
Well, he promoted me right to second Dan, so I trained a few, maybe 6 months or so, and then I took a third Dan test. His is not like waiting 2-3 years to test.
Okay.
I mean, you just have to be efficient, but for the fourth Dan test, I really have to be good, or he won't.
Well,
pass.
yeah, and you have to know the system. I would assume
Yeah,
if you want to be a master,
he
you have to
won't
be able
he
to
won't-
teach it, right?
Yeah, he won't pass me. And he said he would sanction me as permission to teach WMAF, World Martial Arts Federation. I could become an instructor in WMAF.
Is
As
this a point fighting system, or is it more geared toward Muay Thai or kickboxing or
self-defense?
Danny Lane has about 6 black belts. He's one of the highest in the Chuck Norris system. He I should have his resume up here to be able to show you, but he has about 6 black belts, and a lot of those black belts are 6th, 7th, and 8th and higher. So he's trained in traditional martial arts, but he's also trained in MMA martial arts. So the World Martial Arts Federation is a combination of all his years of experience, taking the best of both worlds, traditional and MMA, and putting them together to make a very, very effective self-defense system. Probably one of the most effective self-defense systems out there, actually. It's got a little bit of Kempo in it. It's got a little bit of Jiu-Jitsu in it. It's got a little bit of Nihon Gosho. He's a second Dan in Nihon Gosho karate. And if you know how hard it is to get a black belt in Nihon Gosho karate, well, it's very hard to become a black belt in Nihon Gosho karate. And I think he's 7th or 8th in Chuck Norris' system, and I think he's 7th or 8th in Tang Soo Do. So Danny Lane is the total package when it comes to martial arts. Nine-time national champion and North American champion and one-time world champion. So, and Danny and I have become quite close over the last year. So
nice.
So yeah,
cool.
fourth Dan master. That's my next goal in the martial arts. Yep, I'm going to get that fourth Dan. So
Awesome. Yeah, we were just asking because we just come from backgrounds where, fourth Dan is just fourth Dan and you don't get a master's rank until 6th or 7th
or 8th
or 8th or anything like. So we're just coming from a different method of thinking, and we were just curious is all. That's
actually, gals, in most Korean martial arts, fourth Dan is master.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had no clue. So you learn something new every day. I had no idea. That's cool.
Because I've
Very
been in
cool.
a number of Taekwondo studios, and fourth Dan is regarded as master. So now sometimes to get a master's rank, you also have to be a studio owner, or they won't give you a master rank. But World Tang Sudo, if you were a 4th Dan and you owned a studio, you got a master's rank. If you didn't own a studio, you were still 4th Dan, but you didn't get the rank of master. And World Tang Sudo was founded by Grandmaster Jay Shin, a mega legend in the martial arts. I actually met Grandmaster Jay Shin on a few occasions. He was Chuck Norris's first karate instructor in Korea, Tang Sudo instructor. And they stayed in touch through the years. So, I actually got to meet Grandmaster Jay Shin in his office, which was really cool, in Philadelphia. So that was a really neat moment to meet Grandmaster Jay Shin in his office. Chuck Norris and him, photos on the wall. Really cool. I'll actually post the photo of that in the comment section after this is over. So
nice. Now, if you do get your master rank in Taekwondo or Denny Lane's system, what
Tang Sudo?
Denny Lane's system is master rank for.
Yeah, World Martial Arts Federation, Denny Lane.
So if you do get your master's rank in Denny Lane's system, what are your goals with that? Are you going to teach, or are you going to?
There's a possibility I may try to open a school. Especially if I'm promoted to 2nd Dan in Tang Sudo Motokwan, I might try to open a school in Florida. That's a possibility. Or around here. I was considering pursuing my master's degree in psychology. Got a little sidetracked the last few years. But I'm also considering pursuing a master's in psychology too. So.
And what are you going to do with that? I'm just curious. If you
probably get. I worked before I got in the IT field. I worked in a group home. I was a caseworker for a while. So something in the line of human services. Maybe I'll become a minister. And like Kathy Long, my hero, one of my heroes. Yeah, you're my most important female hero in the martial arts, Kathy. You really are.
Why?
You really are. You're my most important. Kathy Long is my most important hero in the martial arts community. And I know a lot of them. I know Cynthia Rothrock. I know Christian Banyan Rodriguez. I know Linda Denley. And because I've known about Kathy for so long, I've known about Kathy for decades. And when she finally said yes to a group, it was a really good day for me. When you finally said yes after chatting with you for 2 years.
Did you not take him up on his offer at first, Cal?
I think he and I were both going through a few things at the time. Yeah.
I met Kathy a couple of years ago. Do you remember Kathy the first time we met in New Jersey?
I've been to Jersey. It was many, many, many years ago. It wasn't 2 years ago.
3 years ago in New Jersey. I met you there. I'll send you the photo. I'll send you the photo.
You send me the photo. It's been longer than 3 years.
Well, it might be 4 years. Time flies. It might be 4 years by now. But I met Kathy the first year, and my God, she has a presence. When you walk in the room, there's like an aura around her. I swear, I felt like there was an aura around her. She really has a presence. You really do have a presence.
God bless you for that. But everyone has an aura around them.
Well, that's true, but yours is a very strong aura. I could actually take a photo, and get the aura. I'll send you the
That's very
photo,
nice.
and that'll jog your memory. Once you see the photo of us together, that'll jog your memory.
Very kind.
My friend Chris also joined us, the bald-headed fella. If that helps your memory any. But I met you in New Jersey, right outside of New York City. It was right on the edge of New York City. And it was about 3.5, 4 years ago. And I walked in there and I said, "Boy, there's Kathy Long. Oh my God!" It's like I was more thrilled meeting you than I met Chuck Norris in 2004. I think I was more thrilled meeting Kathy Long than I was Chuck Norris. So there you go.
That's so nice of you.
Well,
Okay,
look at
let's talk
it.
about something else.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look who sent me a personal autograph.
I see that.
Because
Cool.
I know Chuck's wife. I got to know Chuck's wife. And Chuck Norris sent me a personal autograph 2 months ago.
Aw.
So
nice.
And, I met him in 2004, but at that time he didn't sign a photograph. He just signed the book. He wrote a biography book. But when I met Kathy Long, I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm in the same room with Kathy Long." It's like, oh my God. Wake up. No, don't wake up. Stay dreaming.
The photo is around here somewhere. I'm trying to find it.
Which photo is this?
Of him and you.
Oh.
Yeah, it's here somewhere.
Well, on one of my IDs, that is my photo. I have 4 IDs I work with, and on one of my IDs, that is my photo. And on my main ID, I have Bill Wallace and Kathy Long together. And I knew they were both going to Texas. And I called Bill and I contacted Kathy Long and I said, "You guys got to get a photo together." And of course,
I remember that.
And you remember that, yep. And I knew Bill would forget, but I knew Kathy would remember. And you did, Kathy. You got a photo.
Yeah, I remembered, and yes.
Yes.
I'm looking for it now.
That's on my ID, on Stephan Morris ID. But I'll post it in the comment section. One of Kathy and I together in New Jersey.
I've got one, and it's let me see if I can pull it up here. Is it? I can't really show everybody, but let's see if I can get it close enough to the. No, I can't. It's not gonna work.
Oh well, so be it. Okay,
it's not gonna work because it's too.
Yep, that's it. That's it.
Is it.
Yeah, put it a little lower. Put it a little there. That's it. That's the first. You remember that, Kathy?
I remember that picture, but that wasn't New Jersey.
Oh yes, that was New Jersey. Yeah, that was right outside of New York City, on the border of New York City.
All right then. My memory must be shot at this point.
Trust me, it was New Jersey. It was New Jersey. I know that. I know that for sure. I wouldn't doubt you, but I do know that was New Jersey.
Okay, then. I'll take your word for it, my friend.
No, do you remember this picture with Bill?
I think it was in outside Trenton, or it was right on the border of New York City.
Okay.
Nice.
Yay.
And I was thrilled. I was thrilled to meet Kathy Long the first time. And you are going to get a great reception at the Mega Weekend. Believe me, you're going to get a great reception at the Mega Weekend. I will make sure you get a great reception at the Mega Weekend. So,
as long as I can get there from the airport, I'm happy.
I'll pick you up at the airport.
Okay. God bless you.
Awesome.
I have been a fan. I have been a fan of Bill Wallace, Kathy Long, Chuck Norris for so many years. You know, the idea that I'm actually friends with Kathy Long is like I got to pinch myself. You know, it's been really a nice ride. You know, it's been a nice ride to get to meet people I never thought I'd ever meet and get to know. So, and you, Restita, too. You're more recent on my list. but you are a very
Oh,
nice. You're a very nice person and a champion in your own right. So.
Thank you. Thank you. So, when would you ever think about, speaking of, competition and stuff, would you ever think about going into competition? I mean, we're never too old to get into competition. I mean, a few years ago, I came out of retirement to compete, and I did pretty well.
I saw that video, and you did do well. I saw that video. I follow you guys. I follow a lot of people on Facebook, and I saw the video, and you did very well on that. I believe it was forms. You did forms, if I remember.
Yep.
And
after 15 years of being away and injuries and stuff like that, and I think you could do well too.
Well, you know
Just
what?
saying.
Well, you know what? I was at the first Superfoot World Championship in 2016. And I got Joe Corley was there, Professor Gary Lee was there, Bill Wallace was there, Danny Lane was there, and because of car troubles, I hadn't attended the ones since. Now this year they won't be having one, but if they ever bring the Superfoot World Championship back, I'm probably going to try to compete in sparring. Yes.
Nice.
I'm not forms. That's the reason I'm not a 4th degree black belt, because I don't like forms.
Aw. Well, just out of curiosity, why not?
Because I love to spar and I love kicking targets, but having to memorize forms and then rememorize them, it kind of, it's an important part of the martial arts. I'm not saying it's not. It is an important part. And believe me, in World Tang Soo Do, they really emphasize it. And I trained in a lot of forms. But I personally am not a big fan of forms. But I love to spar. I love to kick targets. And I love to, I love some forms. And forms that have 57 moves in them, I'm not a big fan of the forms that have 57 moves in them, because it's a lot to learn. It's a lot. It takes up space in my head. So
it's a way of mastering something.
It's true, but everyone has their preferences and what they're good at and what they're bad at. I mean, you got to look at it this way: if you're not good with forms, maybe that's one thing you should really get into.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna, the way I look at it is, if you're gonna be a master to pass on an art, you can't pass on half an art because you don't like an aspect of it. Would you?
Well, it's absolutely true. I mean, I look at it this way. I won't get back into teaching Kung Fu San Soo, which I'm a master in, but I have long since forgotten all the forms, and it's something I really need to, just for my own edification, need to get back into, especially if I want to get back into teaching it again. So I love forms. That's just it. I love forms, but I had gotten out of it when I got into fighting, and it's just been it's going to be an interesting road getting back into it.
Yeah.
Well, I agree. Forms have a place. I think especially for beginners to develop that. The flexibility, the coordination, the timing, forms are a big part of that. And the Danny Lane system, he doesn't have traditional katas or yongs in Korean. His are more, it's more like Kempo. It's several series of steps, maybe 5 or 6 different steps that you do, almost more like Kempo karate. And I trained a little bit in Kempo karate myself. So he doesn't have the 60-step forms or yongs, that traditional Korean martial arts have. He has the 5 and 6-step self-defense techniques, real close techniques, real close to the opponent, like Kempo. And it's very similar to Kempo, but it's very effective. I mean, it'll take an opponent down. It'll take an opponent out in a matter of a few seconds. You know, that's the key to Danny Lane's system. You take that opponent out in a matter of a few seconds. If it's a life and death situation or you're defending a friend or whatever. So
right. So have you ever had to use that against anyone to protect someone or yourself?
No, you know,
or
most people that know me know I'm too good. So they know I'm too good. I haven't had a fight since I was about 10 years old. That was, not a drag out fight. That was really a bad fight. And I'm a nice guy. I'm known as Mr. Nice Guy, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, And no, I have not had a formal fight. But with Danny Lane's system, I know I could take somebody out real quick because Danny does not mess around. He took the best of training for like 50 years and he put it in the World's Martial Arts Federation. And there's about 1,200 black belts in that organization. And I am proud to be an administrator of 2 of his pages and his group. I'm a founder of founder of a page, founder of a group, and an administrator of the World Martial Arts Federation's page.
And a third degree system.
And I'm a third Dan in WMAF. Yes, it's the World Martial Arts Federation, and Danny Lane is been on quite a few covers, not as many covers as Kathy Long, but Kathy's been on about 36 covers, I believe. But Danny Lane has been a very good friend of Keith Vitale. Keith told me last night that Danny Lane and Keith are very good friends. And Danny Lane is a good friend of Joe Corley, I believe, too. So... And Joe Corley is a great guy. I really like Joe. I work very closely with Joe Corley with the PKA Association. So
I fought on a Showtime event that Joe Corley had promoted one time. So that was a lot of fun.
Well, you know what? Joe Corley, Grandmaster Joe Corley now, who I just talked to on the phone a couple days ago. I was on the phone one night, and the next day I talked to him on the phone. And he's promoting the new PKA, and he's looking for assistance from little old me, to help promote the new PKA. And I thought maybe he'd, tune in tonight, but, he's got a lot on his plate. And but Joe Corley is probably the greatest promoter of the martial arts in this country and possibly even the entire world. He founded the PKA, co-founder of the Professional Kickboxing Association, and he's also a founder of the Battle of Atlanta. The Battle of Atlanta is the largest open martial arts tournament in the world. Now, I asked Grandmaster Corley, and he no longer owns the Battle of Atlanta. He sold it, but he still has a major, iconic presence in there in the Battle of Atlanta. So
if Joe Corley needs a color commentator for the PKA events, I'd love to be involved in that.
Yeah, because you're very skilled in the commentating thing. I have to butt in you guys real quick because I just got this off in the news ticker. This is from Michael Matsuda of the Martial Arts History Museum. We are saddened to hear of the recent news of the passing of another pioneer, Wong Jack Man. Although many know him for his fight with Bruce Lee, Sifu Wong Jack Man played a key role in opening the doors of Northern Shaolin Kung Fu to America. He taught in San Francisco for over 5 decades and made a big impact on American history. He passed away on December 26th. Wong Jack Man was also a teacher of one of my teachers, Sifu Aldecascos. So in a way, he's in my lineage as well. I just saw this and I'm like just devastated because a lot of the movements that we have in the One Hop Kendo system are based on the teachings of Shifu Wong Jackman. So our condolences to everyone that was taught and touched by Grandmaster Wong Jackman and to his family. So that's devastating. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Back to what Kat was asking.
You know, if Joe Crowley wants a commentator or needs a commentator, I'd love to be considered.
Well, you know,
There you go.
I'm friends with, I still call him Grandmaster Corley out of respect, but I've talked to him on the phone many times. I'm president of the Superfoot fan club, and Joe Corley is also executive vice president, and I recommended it to Bill. That's why I became president. So, but yeah, I mean, I could certainly put a good word in for you, and I'm sure he'd love to have you as a co-commentator. I'm sure he'd love to do that. You were a commentator with Bill Wallace and the NFL great. He's a I can't remember his name right now, but at years ago, you and Bill Wallace and an NFL great were commentators at. You remember that? I'm sure you do.
Of course,
Yeah,
I remember it.
I was going to say. I'm sure
Yeah.
What was his name? Was there a football guy there?
Yeah, there was a football guy there. Yeah, a football great.
I mean, it's okay. I can't remember his name.
What was his name though?
He has a very famous name, aside from being a football player, but it's one of the common names that's associated with the celebrities. But it's okay. That experience of watching and color commentating the first UFC was really, it was just amazing for me to see what went on behind the scenes. But what a cool event.
Yeah, I remember posting that photo on the Bill Wallace group a few times, and
cool.
More than once, actually a few times. Jim Brown was the commentator.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah,
Jane? No,
yeah,
Jim Brown.
the legendary NFL football player Jim Brown, and Bill Wallace. Honest to God, poor Bill made a lot of mistakes on that night. And I heard a lot of those mistakes. But Kathy did great. But Bill made a lot of mistakes. So.
Well, Bill didn't let me talk very much. God bless him.
Bill loves to talk. Bill loves to talk. It's
okay because
on Facebook. He's not good on Facebook, but he loves to talk.
Well, we've got like. Oh, go ahead.
I'm like Bill's personal secretary. Sometimes I feel like I'm Bill's personal secretary, But now that I have 24 groups and just added the Keith Vitale group, I'm a lot of people's personal secretaries, I guess. But I call myself the ambassador. I have my own page now. I'm up to 1,453 likes on my page, and. Nice. And well, I made a page so I can sign my groups. I consider myself the host of the group, not the star of the group, the host of the group. So, because if the star doesn't post a lot, I run a group for Zara Python, very famous in the UK. Both of you guys. I run a group for Christian Banyan. Both of you gals. I run a group for Christian Banyan Rodriguez, who she's pretty active in her group, And I run a group for Benny Arquitas, Keith Vitale, Bill Wallace, and a whole lot of other people. About 20 celebrities I promote. So
Nice. Well, I've got I have a question here, and I'm just going to open it up to all of us. Actually, this question was actually asked toward me, but I figured I would open it up for everyone else to get your guys' take on it. The question comes from Sean Byrne, and Sean writes, "What advice would you give, Rusty, to someone getting back into tournaments after many years out of it?" Now, I feel Kat can answer this question also because she took a bit of a hiatus from competing and then got back into the MMA ring at the age of 51,
right?
Which is unheard of, right? But I'll just go ahead and start, and perhaps a little bit later here, Spidey, maybe you can add something in there. I mean, I know you haven't competed yet, but maybe you've got some tips you might want to share as far as training. But as far as getting back into tournaments, there are a couple things to consider. Number one, how long have you been away? Right. I'd been away for it was like 15 years, going on 16. It was almost 16 years since I had last competed on a national or world circuit. And I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and try this, see what happens. So it depends on how many years you're away. And two, again, depending on how many years you're away, you have to kind of factor in things such as, have you been injured since then? Is your mobility limited since then? Have you kept up on your strengths, and have those strengths gotten stronger or stayed the same? Have your weaknesses gotten better, or have your weaknesses stayed as weaknesses? So these are kind of some things to consider when you go into training. What I did, because I wanted to ease back into the tournament circuit, was I wanted to compete in Tai Chi, in Chen style Tai Chi, which, even though it's Tai Chi, it's still pretty, it's still physical. So I had to just discipline myself to train the form that I was going to do at least 5 times a day. 5 times a day. Now, normally, a routine could be a minute and a half, 2 minutes, depending on, a karate routine, wushu routine, taekwondo routine, or whatever. Tai Chi routines, however, can be anywhere between, 3 to 15, 20, 25 minutes. I had to figure out a way to get this form, together in a 2-minute section. And I didn't know this until I got to the tournament. I was completely ready to do a shortened version of a Tai Chi form that was only about 5 minutes. But then I learned literally 3 minutes before the division, you have 2 minutes, Rusty, 2 minutes. And I was like,
say what?
What are you talking about, Willis? So, I basically had to shorten this routine on the fly, right? So, and I did. I don't know what I did. The only reason why I knew what I did is I had to look at the video, right? But I just got out there, did what I did, and just kind of went on instinct right there. Okay, when's 2 minutes? When do I stop? But I just had to discipline myself to train, and to take into consideration that, some things were a little creaky. If you know what I mean. My knees were, were not liking me as much as they used to from the decades of doing wushu and stuff like that. So I had to learn how to modify my routines and my movement without sacrificing the inherent form behind it and the intention behind it. The shape of the routine had to remain the same without sacrificing anything. That's the hard part of the training. Keep yourself motivated, train hard, but also listen to your body. That's the most important thing. Just go back into competition with that same attitude of, I'm here, I'm going to do my best. Let's do this. And realize that your I guess your goals and your intentions of coming into a tournament might differ as they would have been when you were in your 20s. When I was in my 20s, I would walk into a tournament and look at that grand championship trophy, and in my head, I'm thinking, that's mine. right? In my 20s. That one's mine. And I would get it, but, now it was like, I'm here. I'm just going to do the best I can because there are a lot of wonderful people in this room. So that's it. So that's my advice. What about you?
Gosh, I would mirror a lot of the advice that you've given, especially listening to your body. But for me, getting back into a contact sport, I mean, when I left kickboxing and Muay Thai, I took a hiatus for a little while, got back into boxing, then retired from that, and many years went by, and I wanted to get back into MMA.
Mm-hmm.
So for MMA, especially, I understood that I was already in my late 40s, early 50s.
Right.
And I thought, if I'm going to start back at it, I need to start slowly.
Yes.
No matter what my mind says, no matter how good I feel inside, I know that if I go balls out on the heavy bag the first time out, I'm going to, rip and tear things. So I would purposely warm up longer, like at least 30 minutes longer than everybody else.
Right.
But my warm-ups weren't, super extraneous either.
Mm-hmm.
I would make sure that I warmed up with light rotations first, just to get all the joints flowing and functioning well, and then go into a warm-up. And that warm-up would still be longer than everybody else's because, the warmer your body is, the less chance of ripping and tearing. Don't overextend your movements, no matter how good, no matter how good you feel. Don't overextend your movements.
Yeah. We don't bounce back no matter, like Kat said, even though our minds say, hey, we can do this, we just realistically, we don't bounce back as well as we used to, no matter what. Like I said, mind over matter. If you don't mind, then it don't matter. We get that.
Yeah, we get it.
We get it. But time is time, and
something that helped me a lot was, working with, and all my sparring partners were young people, in their 20s, and some maybe in their early 30s. And I was already in my late 40s, early 50s. So in that respect, they were very respectful of me, knowing that, I wanted to get back I wanted to start MMA. And they knew that I didn't know as much and that my body, wasn't used to some of the rigorous and training that I had to do. But especially when it came to sparring, and with takedowns and things like that, it's not that they went easy on me, but they also respected the fact that, I was an athlete. I was a former world champion coming into something. So there was already an automatic respect there.
Right.
But they also knew that if the coach said, go ahead, test her, and I would say, okay, go slower today, or today I feel good, let's go harder. I would definitely listen to my body. That's one of the most important, and eating right, and making sure that you take longer to get ready for a competition as opposed to the short amount of time you did before when you were younger. Take longer, and it's okay.
I remember that. Like, I would hear, oh, there's a tournament, like, next month. Okay. I would just come to classes like normal. And then, a week before the tournament, then I would train every day, and then go in and, get a trophy or something like that.
I didn't mind spending months getting ready, months and months and months, because I just didn't want to go in there. First off, I didn't want to go in there injured, even though I knew I was older. I did not want to go in injured. So I purposely waited and took my time and learned things better and made sure that my body was up to par. In my mind, my body was up to par. Because, I'm not going to go in there and look like a stupid fool. I'm just not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, when I went in, I did realize that, there are a lot of things as far as like flexibility that I couldn't do anymore. I'd injured my back since then. That was one of the reasons why I had to retire. And I thought, well, here we go. There's a lot of stuff that I couldn't do. So you just kind of have to make do with what you had. I had to warm up a lot longer than most people that were there, the younger people that were there. But it's thank goodness that there's a different division for people that are 50 and over. Because if I had to compete against someone that was like 30, I don't know. I mean,
Amen to that.
Yeah, I didn't mind. I mean, I think my last fight a few years ago,
it went really well.
It went well, and it was against a girl. I think she was in her late 30s, early 40s. So we were roughly close in age, roughly.
Yeah, roughly
10 years, 10 to 15 years apart, but that's okay.
Now, Tom Dwyer has a question. He writes, so actually, let's get back to that here in a second. What about you, Spidey? Do you have any advice for people that are coming?
When Kat fought that last MMA fight, I was very much rooting for Kat, of course. Kat, your kickboxing record is 19-1, correct?
No, sir, it's more than that, but that's okay.
Well, that's what it says in Wikipedia.
Wikipedia is wrong.
And I don't know who put that in Wikipedia. They obviously never asked me, so be it.
we need to change it on your group then. I need to change it on your group.
If you wouldn't mind.
So,
yep.
Because I usually grab what's on either on usdojo.com or Wikipedia, and so I'll change that on your group. I'll change that in the details.
Okay. I'll give you. I don't have your phone. Do I have your phone number?
No, but I'll send it to you. It's on my page. It's on my page. It's on my Stephan Spidey International Ambassador of Martial Arts page. That's my phone number.
Can you just private message me and I'll give you my phone number?
I'll private message you.
Okay, and I'll give you my official record.
Wiki Live. Oh yeah.
Larson Heiser calls it Wiki Lies instead of Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Now,
Wiki Lies.
Tom Dwyer writes in. He's asking us a question. He writes, rotator shoulder injuries. Any tips?
Yes.
Asking for a friend.
Yes.
Asking for a friend.
Yes. TheraBand, the fishy bands, just the light movements this way and this way and this way. The key is
show them again because you weren't on the.
The key is take your time. Okay, so with tendons, because this is a rotator cuff, so with tendons it takes much longer to heal.
Yes,
much longer.
Yes.
So be patient.
Yes,
they will heal.
Yeah.
So wait.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you guys. Sorry to interrupt you guys. Tom Dwyer, Ghost Rider, one of the best characters ever. He has a Ghost Rider on his thing. Ghost Rider is one of my favorite.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking.
Ghost Rider is one of my favorite Marvel characters.
Nice.
Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you, gals. I just wanted to get a Ghost Rider plug.
It's all right. Well, if you attach a stretchy band to a door or a pole or something, and you grab the other end of it, these types of exercises this way as well as this way, as well as back and forward this way, all those movements where you're keeping your shoulder stationary and you're just allowing your elbow to move this way, you're not going up. Well, you can do this. You can definitely go up like this, but the whole idea is to work the shoulder and isolate that shoulder, but only with light stretchy bands.
Oh, what happened
to help?
There? Sorry, hold on.
That's okay.
There we go.
Use light stretchy bands to slowly but surely build your strength back, and then eventually you can bounce a ball off a wall like this using those motions, but always keep it light to begin with, because it's gonna take months to heal a
rotator cuff injury.
Rotator cuff injury.
Yeah. It took me months. I had hyperextended, I had hyperextended my elbow and tripped out a bit on my. What happened to my camera? My camera went away. Why is my camera all black? What's going on? Do you guys still see our camera?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, you can still see us because all I got is black right here. I don't know why, but so I can't tell if we're still in frame. But I had hyperextended my elbow and injured my rotator cuff in a throw in a demonstration. And Kat's right, it takes months, but you have to be patient. You know, when you're any kind of athlete and you're injured, when the second that it starts feeling a little bit better, you think, oh, I can get back into this, right? I can get back into training. And that was kind of my mistake for a little bit. And it just took forever to heal.
It's every enthusiastic athlete's mistake.
Yes. And it took forever to heal. You know, and I still feel it to this day when it gets cold. But you know, you just really have to be patient. And you know, if you know there's the possibility of having a physical therapist, don't be afraid to use them. Don't be afraid to, you know, ask them questions about how to what's the word I'm looking for, rehabilitate an injured part, because you know it's easy for us to think, oh, I know what's best for my body. Yeah, you know, we do it to a good extent, but it sure helps to have some kind of a medical assistance or a physical therapist that knows how to rehabilitate, as opposed to
Right,
you
just
know
an
knowing your
advi-
body, right?
But you know, some light movements in the water as well, because it's a mild resistance.
Yeah. Mild resistance, that's the key.
That is the key
That's
for
the key. Don't rush.
rehabilitation. Yes, don't rush. Mild resistance, light weights, very light, like 2 pounders, 3 pounders, maybe, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah. What about you, Spidey? Have you injured anything? How did you rehabilitate?
Oh yeah, I have some injuries from the martial arts. When I was training for my black belt, we used to train on a Sunday, and it was just people preparing for their black belt test. I sprained my right ankle severely. Had to hobble into the hospital. I went to work on crutches for about a month, and then a number of years later, I sprained the other ankle, and I've hurt my shoulder. I have a bob in the basement. I had several Everlast punching bags through the years. I've hurt my shoulder, and not a rotator cuff, but just, you know, shoulder injury. So yeah, about 3 major injuries through martial arts. Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody in the healing process?
Well, with my, you know, I did go to the hospital. One of the senseis of the studio drove me to the hospital and got it x-rayed, and I did go to rehab for a while because it popped out about an inch and a half. It was out swollen. And I was laying on the floor. I was laying on the floor suffering, and then the sensei, he was second Dan in the World Tang Soo Do Association. He drove me to the hospital. I was on crutches for about 4 weeks going to work, and you know, I didn't continue too long with the rehab because of the, you know, the fee, but I learned what to do on my own, and I kind of did it on my own, and before you know it, I was back. And my sensei, he was a fourth Dan or fifth Dan, and he's pretty high up in the World Tang Soo Do Association. He still is. He's a regional director. He said, he used to call me Stephan. He said, Stephan, you're the only person I know that could come back after a major injury and still be that flexible. That I could still kick 6 foot side kick, you know, in the air, you know.
Well,
so
I know Bill Wallace had a total hip replacement and was
He
able
still
to
can do it. Yeah.
Bill
which is pretty cool.
Bill had a hip replacement. This isn't really common knowledge, but Bill Wallace was very sick not the last mega weekend, but the mega weekend before that, he was extremely ill.
Yeah.
Only inner circle, and mostly only inner circle Superfoot people will actually know how sick he actually was. And he had contracted a bacterial infection in the hospital. And I think from what Jane told me, he was actually on death's door for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually saw that on Facebook. So
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Not too many people know that, and Jane did not want me to post it, and she wanted to keep it pretty much private because Bill is one of the great legends in the sport of martial arts. He's world renowned in martial arts, and
Right.
he goes everywhere. I mean, he's at the MA Super Show. He's at Dragon Fest. He's at the Mega Weekend. I mean, he's everywhere.
Right.
He's at the UK Martial Arts Super Show, and she told me that he was literally on death's door, and I didn't realize that until Jane told me about that. But he pulled through, and it was really touch and go there for a while. So, and that's what a little bacteria can do to your system.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you're not careful, just the bacterial infections will knock you out for like 2 months.
And
crazy.
Bill's in excellent condition. When he was a professional fighter, he fought 7 years point fighting, 6 years full contact, retired undefeated, 23-0. And largely regarded as either the first or the second greatest karate fighter in the history of the sport, among Joe Louis, Benny Urquidez. I'm talking men here. Benny Urquidez, Joe Louis, and Bill Wallace being some of the best fighters in the history of the sport. I run Benny Urquidez's only group on Facebook. Now he does have a page, but I have his only group on Facebook. And Benny's a real nice guy. I got to know Benny in the last two years. So, but I'm losing my track of thought tonight. Anyway.
Okay, that's okay. We're actually at our 2 hour mark. That's allotted for our broadcast tonight. So we'd love to have you on another time if you're willing. Maybe to talk a little bit about some of the people that you made pages for, and maybe we can do that later on in the year. So, what do you think about that?
Sure. I was really thrilled when Keith Vitale said yes, because I've known about Keith for decades too. One of the top 10 greatest male fighters in the history of the sport. So I got Keith Vitale's group now too, and I also have been given admin rights to his page as well. So
great.
Yeah.
Maybe
so
we
now,
can talk about that on another show, because we're at the end of our broadcast allotment for right now. So perhaps we can talk about that another time. Because
you gals look marvelous tonight, by the way, and you're together. You're not on two separate screens. You're actually together.
Yeah, we're in the same room.
I'm in Seattle. Yeah.
Oh, you're in
that?
Seattle. I was going to say you're either in Seattle or you're in Los Angeles, one or the other. So
right.
you're in-
Yeah, I'm actually going back to Yucca Valley tomorrow.
Okay.
Lucky me.
I know. Kathy. I know Kathy works at. Can I tell the public where Kathy works at? I know where Kathy works at. In Los
Where
Angeles.
do I work?
Tap out.
No, I don't work. No, not any longer, my friend. That gym closed years ago.
Oh, you're not at Tap Out.
No, they closed down. Mismanagement, unfortunately.
Well, we used to chat a lot maybe a year back, and then we we still chat occasionally, but we were chatting an awful lot a year back, and then you even talked to my girlfriend for an hour on the phone. Remember that?
I do remember that, and I was just really hoping I could help the situation, but so be it.
Yeah, because we're both screwed up human beings, and you helped. So
I'm so glad.
hey, aren't most people screwed up in some way? I mean, it's just a fact. It's a fact of life.
Yeah.
So no, I'm no longer with her. I had a girlfriend since, but I'm no longer with her anymore. But she's a great girl, and she's in Florida, so maybe I'll run into her in Florida. But
yeah.
Awesome. Good luck on that one. Be careful.
Thanks for the privilege of having me as a guest tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you so much.
I love you, Donna. Donna's my best friend. Donna's my best friend.
Donna is awesome. Donna is awesome.
Donna is going to be going with me to the Mega Weekend. She is gonna. I'm gonna be sleeping at Donna's house. Not with Donna, but I'm going to be sleeping at Donna's house before we go to the Mega Weekend.
I think we had Donna on the show once.
did
Didn't we, Donna?
Yes,
we did. Yeah, we did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, we did.
Well, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donna's a champion in her own right. She has won many trophies, and she's been in a lot of Hall of Fame events, and she'll be winning her alumni. She'll be winning her alumni award at the Mega Weekend this year, and I will be at the same table with her, and we will be watching Kathy Long up on stage, with the big shots. So
nice.
And that's my goal. That's my goal. I'll eventually be up on stage with the big shots.
I'd rather be sitting in the audience watching everybody up on stage.
I've been, and this will be my third year at the Superfoot table. I'm a Superfoot person, so I'll be at the Superfoot table. So.
Nice. Well, it looks like Tom Dwyer. He's the person with the ghostwriter profile picture. He wants you to friend him. So in the comments.
Yes, of course I will. I have thousands of friends on Facebook. Most I don't know.
We'll find out. Tom Dwyer is the host of another awesome Facebook podcast show. He's got listeners all over the United States, all over the world. As a matter of fact, you should get to know him.
Tom, I'd gladly be on your podcast. I'd be honored to be on your podcast.
Well, it's that magical time.
It's
folks.
that magical time, folks. We're gonna have to get out of here. It's time for resting.
Hey, one thing yet. Spidey loves you guys. Spidey loves you guys. Don't forget.
Awesome. Thank you. And
thank you.
Now, everybody. So tune in next week as I think on our docket for next week, I think we have Master Sean Davis. Let me double check here. Yeah, we have Master Sean Davis on next week, 6 p.m. Pacific time as our guest. We'll learn a little bit about his martial arts background, and his philosophy, and how he applies it to everyday life. So tune in next Sunday at 6 p.m. So we'll see you. We'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. See you at the Mega Weekend, Kathy. See you at the Mega Weekend.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Good night. Oh, I love that dance. Oh, that's cool.